Yeah, only know that half of it, they still tell it all. The same people believe in anything they saw. I'm too busy minding minds.
Thank y'all for tuning in to a new episode of the Dad Shit Podcast, hosted by me, Lo Brown. I know it's been a little minute since I dropped the episode, but had some things going on, good things, a lot of starts. One thing was started a new job. Things are going well on that front, and also summer semester started for me as well. So it's pretty busy the last 3 weeks getting adjusted to the new job, and also getting adjusted to the syllabus I got going on with my studies. Getting adjusted to the new flow at the household. So I'm on site more often now at the job. So not being at home like I was the past, I would say, year, is a little adjustment, but things are good. The wife been holding it down. Kids have been okay, so can't really complain too much. But it just an adjustment. So I had to try to figure out how I'm gonna get back to the podcast and things of that nature. As you can see, I'm at the crib. I'm not at State Beat Studio, but we'll be back. We'll be back one day. Might as well utilize my tools that I invest in and see where we go from there. But this episode, I wanted to talk about something that is a little touchy to some people. At one point in time, it was a touchy topic for myself, but after getting over it, it's become a regular conversation, or just it became a topic that didn't bring anxiety to me anymore, or stress, or fear of judgment, and things of that nature, because it's important not just for you, but if you're starting a family, being financially able to talk to your partner is very crucial. So without further ado, this episode is about 5 mistakes to, try to avoid when, becoming a dad and being involved with your partner and having a family overview. And just a disclaimer, I'm not trying to come off as a financial advisor. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your money, with your bread, with your guap. I'm not. That's not my lane. I'm not trying to, tell y'all doing something wrong, doing something right. Need to do this, need to do that. It's pretty much, I'm just trying to, explain what I've been through, or just some things that I've seen or researched, or this an overall knowledge of the whole perspective of my experience, pretty much. And I'm still learning too about how to really handle your money. And I just wanted to share a few thoughts and see if there's anyone else out there that is on this path of being smarter with your money, looking at money different, being comfortable talking about money, especially with your partner, I would say. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it. So let's start off with topic number 1. So topic number 1, most people might not have an emergency fund. I just want to kind of stress about like how important that is, to have a pot of money set aside for the uncertainties or the surprises, either from car repairs, home repairs. Sometimes like me, I was starting a new job, but it took a little longer than expected. So I went a couple of weeks without no new money coming in. Not saying that it was an issue, but didn't plan for that. But thankfully, we had that emergency fund set there just in case things started to look a little murky. So just examples like that, it's very important to at least start somewhere. I'm not saying you need thousands of dollars. If you have thousands of dollars in your emergency fund, that's great. But for those who, are a little hesitant of, how much I need to throw in there, how much do I need? There's a real thumb set that says you need at least 3 months worth of, home expenses. As a guideline. For some, that it's not that easy to get that chunk of change that fast. The thing that I can stress is starting somewhere. It don't matter, $100 a week, $50 a week. Starting somewhere is better than not having anything at all, especially when it comes to the out-of-pocket costs that you didn't have no idea that you would, have to take out. To me, I try my best to, avoid getting loans or using the credit card or, asking for money, it might be my pride, I'm not the biggest person who asks for money. Like, I'm the type that's going to figure it out how to get that money through some type of work. But, if I don't have to do that, if I can be more, proactive and start saving bit by bit, then, that's good enough. And, as the money grows salary wise, then the more, I'm able to contribute. And not just you, your partner as well. Like, double team the emergency fund. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I understand that things are expensive out here, and, we worry about the bills that we are currently using and things like that. But life happens, life happens, and you got to be prepared. And no matter what, there's going to be some type of stress with it. So you want to alleviate some of that stress and just make sure that you're good, that you can at least cover the things you need to cover until you get things back rolling. It happens. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad about it. It happens. So we just want to, the next time it happens, we want to be more prepared for it. So, a while back, I had struggled with that, not being really prepared when things happen. Way before, I had a family and was married, just on myself, because I was content to, live with the consequences of going broke for a week and waiting to the next check, because I only had me to depend on, which is not the smartest things, but, being a young gun, and that's just how sometimes you think if you don't have that knowledge right away, or haven't learned the true meaning of how to manage your money. But best believe, when it came to, marriage and having kids, best believe me and my partner definitely, it took some time for me to be comfortable with talking about money. Even so, my wife, she was very comfortable talking about money. Me, myself, I can't really tell you why I was so uncomfortable. Maybe the debt I had, or I felt like I didn't have no money in the savings, or I felt like I wasn't making enough money, so just a little embarrassed. But, you got to get over that, like, you're going to eventually start making more money eventually if you do the right thing. So don't feel bad that what's preventing you from talking about money is, where you at in life at that current moment, So mistake number 2 to try to avoid when it comes to money is lifestyle inflation. So in other words, some families tend to spend more when they, make more. So you can get a raise, or in my experience, a while back, every time I got a raise, I started thinking, okay, I can get this now. I can get these shoes now. I can get this watch. I can go ahead and get these type of clothes that I want, or I can go ahead and spend it on something, more expensive that I wasn't comfortable with paying for, when I wasn't making that extra increase. Is it a bad thing to kind of treat yourself when you work hard and you get that extra funds? No, there's nothing wrong with it, but it can't be a continuous thing. you know. So something that I had to learn, I had to, you know, prioritize and be patient when getting these higher cost items. You know, just break it down, just break it up. Like I can get something now, get something quarterly or whatever. Make it make sense. Because you don't want to feel like you making more money, but you're not really feeling the new money that you're making, and that can be kind of discouraging, you know, when it comes to, you know, going to your job or working or just you at home like, yo, where's this money going towards, man? Where I don't see these new funds, you know, what's going on? We just got to be a little more diligent when it comes to, you know, those moments or those opportunities. It's, you know, it's smarter to probably save more than spend more. You know, now you can save more at a faster rate than you did before. So now you can have even more of a cushion in case of, you know, when things happen that's not supposed to happen, or maybe, you know, you got enough saved up where you can take a little bit and go ahead and take that trip with the family, or have that, you know, expensive movie trip, you know, because it costs like, for two people, it's like $100 for a solid movie date. You know what I mean? So talking about a family, you probably spending like 150, 200. But, you know, so you just want to be a little smarter when, I'm not even gonna say smarter, but just more conscious of like when you get that new money, just, all right, I'm gonna put this up, because you never know. You can have a job today and be fired tomorrow, be laid off tomorrow, you know, with the new raise. You know what I'm saying? I seen that happen. I seen people get raises and get fired or get laid off not too soon afterwards. So just save a little bit more money. Like, prepare for the future. Prepare for like next month. Like, you know, just have, you know, just don't be too quick to spend that bread. And again, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. All right. If you want to spend your bread, spend it. If you want to spend your money on what you want, you got all the right in the world to spend your money how you want. You know, I just want to look out, because I've been through it, and, you know, I'm trying to do better, and we'll see how my better is when time comes. But, you know, I learned my lesson. If you don't have to go through certain turmoils to figure out what you need to do, why not just go ahead and do what you need to do? Just my 2 cents on that. So we're going to move on to the third mistake, I would say, is not talking about money with your partner. Like, there's nothing more crucial than financial issues when you're in a relationship, especially when you got a family involved. Make it a thing. Make it a weekly thing to talk about money between you and your partner, because somebody can be thinking you're doing great, no worries at all, while the other person is stressing the hell out. Like, yo, like this, you know. So you gotta be on the same page, so you know what's going on. Because there's someone who would like to spend more, there's someone who would like to save more. So you need to, you know, have that constant communication, so whatever is going on is not disturbing the growth that you're trying to do or trying to build as a unit, as a family. So just spend some time, write down the budget, write down your bills. Everyone share, like what me and my wife do. We have a shared note, you know, simple shared note of the budget of what every bill, every subscription that I have, that she has, that I pay for the kids, or whatever it may be. We got it all written out, all right, to the T. And we know where the money is going, and we know what we have left afterwards. And to avoid overspending, pretty much, you don't want to overspend the budget, because then that's when things get out of whack, and the domino effect is like you want to be on it now and not wait until like 4 or 5 months and got to recover from it. And now, you know, your whole plan is tarnished. So you want that constant communication. That's something I would advise, is the conversations with your partner when talking about money. Don't be afraid to talk about it, because y'all are a team. All right. If he or she is really down with you, it shouldn't be an issue. And the more y'all on the same page with money, I feel like everything else it will be a little more simpler or less stressful to talk about. So that's tip number 3. So we're gonna go to number 4. Let's see what I got for number 4. Number 4, you can. It might be a mistake, but don't wait too long to start investing some money. I would say 401k, stocks, or whatever you do your knowledge on, that you research on, that like I'm not the biggest person to tell you what stocks to invest in or what to really do with that. I just know what I know, and I go to those who have more knowledge on that, to see if it fits my interest, or if I feel like it will give me that type of gain that I'm looking for long term or short term. But don't wait for the perfect time to start investing, or don't wait for the perfect amount to start investing. If you got a extra 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks to start dabbing into the market, go ahead and start doing that, because you just never know. It's all about, it's all about the long-term game, and also it's about the short-term game too. But you want that extra source of income coming in that you're making overnight, or just making while you're not even working it. You just investing in it and getting the residuals from it. So don't wait for the perfect time. Time is not on your side. So it's a great tool, but it's not on your side when it comes to waiting for when it's the right opportunity to do something. And that's what a lot of stuff with career goals, or learning, going to school, whatever. Don't wait for that perfect time, man. Just go ahead and do your research and go at it, and play it safe. But as you grow in it and as you learn more, take those necessary risks. But don't wait too long to start investing your money for the long term gain. And we're gonna go to number 5. Number 5. Let's see what we got. Number 5, the biggest thing. This is probably the biggest mistake that people make, that I had made before. That's why I want to give you this knowledge, or this my perspective, is not having a financial plan will set you up for long-term failure, short-term failure, just failure, period. Not knowing where your money is going, not knowing how you're spending your money, not managing your money, just not being in control of your money is something that we want to avoid at all costs, man. It's like, for sure. Plan, which like I said, what me and the wife do, we got a budget. We got a budget sheet. We got the allowance of what we can spend without, worrying about, what it is. If that money is gone for the week, that money is gone for the week. Whether we spend it all on a Monday and got to wait until we get our spending for, to next week, we got to think about, how can I keep most of my money long term? Like, I don't want to work hard, work 40 plus hours and not reap the benefit of what I earned, because I'm not planning out what I'm gonna do with this. Like, just because you make, don't mean you got to give it right back. Plan it out, man. Just plan out what you want to do with your money, and stay, like I said before, just stay in constant communication with your partner. Just be responsible, be accountable, and just pay attention to, how you budgeting your money and how you spending your money, and just make sure that you are putting in some type of savings. There's a stat that I seen. Don't know how true it is. I haven't did a bunch of research, but I heard it before that a lot of people don't even have $500 in their savings and living check to check. And I know it's hard out here for a lot of people. I know the job market is not the friendliest, and people are getting laid off left and right. And I understand that, 1 month you can be, living in poverty just because of how much things cost. And that's why it's so important, when you do have the opportunity to make money, you keep as much as you can as possible. But don't starve yourself as you can't do certain things that are fun and things of that nature. You just have to prioritize when you should do it or could do it. And that's just me. That's just from experience with me, man. And money always always was an issue some time ago. And like I can't really explain how much gratitude that I have for my wife to help me like kind of figure out what I'm doing with my money. And having money to be less of a stress in your everyday life is top tier. And I'm telling you that there's nothing worse than money problems to me. Health and money problems. There's nothing worse than that. And I'm not saying that you got to make the most money out there, period, but just, step by step, just you want to be in a situation where you can afford your livelihood and also be able to do things that you want and get some things that you want, periodically. But it's just, I'm glad I don't have that big of a stress on me anymore. I always want to make more, that's always a goal. You want to make more to build even more of a gap, but just the day-to-day living, I can say that just, the past, 4 years that I'm in a whole better state than I was, prior. And I know a lot of people can attest to that. I know they can. I have friends and I see what, what happened. I know what's going on. We was in the same boat. I had to make a change. I just want everybody to make that change and at a pace that they can make it and really start getting into that bag. If you're thinking about, getting married or starting a family, you don't want to stress about the money. So those are my 5 things. I would like to hear from you. What is the biggest money mistake that you think you have made in your youth or before you got married or before you had kids, or why you have all those things? Like, I want to hear what was your biggest mistake and how did you overcome that? Or are you still looking to overcome that hurdle? Cause I'm here for you. Cause I'm still learning myself, and I'm not going to sit up here and say all my money is managed to the T. I know I got a few strays out there, where my money is going to, but I want to hear from y'all. I want to grow with y'all. I hope this episode was helpful. If it was, please subscribe, give it a like, share it with someone who needs to hear it. I know it's a tough conversation, but it need to be had. We got to start talking about money because we like rapping about the bread. We like, singing about the bread along with the artists and stuff. But how about your own bread? How about your own money? Can you rap about your own money? How you doing? How you doing? So with that being said, my name is Lo Brown. Until next time, keep striving to be 1% better every day. I'm out.
Yeah, only know that half of it, they still tell it all. The same people believe in anything they saw. I'm too busy minding my